Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board for Wednesday, November 6, 2024. Let the record show that all board members are present tonight, Les and Patterson, and that this meeting was properly advertised. There was a working session prior. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing we do is offer the opportunity for public comment. We offer at the beginning and the end of each meeting, and we will go ahead and do that tonight if there's any comment from the public. Good evening, Mr. Whitsitt.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Tom Whitsitt. I live at 2215 Travis Drive here in Lebanon. I've been a resident of this city since 1974. It would seem to me, as a preface to my question, that this board's first duty and obligation would be to the citizens of this city prior to the obligations that they may feel they have for any persons wanting to come in and establish new development. So my question is, how is it that this board authorized or permitted the acquisition of water to existing or proposed developments? And from what I heard 2 days ago, the citizens of this city are going to be denied the opportunity to obtain building permits for any properties that they own until the first quarter of 2027. That's the question.
Okay, thanks for your question.
Board, as you're aware, I know that Mr. Whitsitt's got a question that the board would like to address and may at some juncture. But as you're aware, Mr. Whitsitt attempted to file for building permit with the city and was unsuccessful in doing so. And as a result, has filed a tort claim notice against the city and the utility. And a tort claim notice is a procedural step when a governmental entity is involved in potential litigation. And while the utility and city may formally respond to Mr. Whitsitt in the tort claim notice in due course, I guess and while it may be unsatisfying to the board, I would recommend that responding to his questions happen in a different environment and more of an informal setting, and would defer commenting until that time. I've offered to and continue to offer to Mr. Whitsitt to gather a number of board members, Lebanon utility staff, engineers, and sit in any number and sit down with Mr. Whitsitt and talk about, our first come, first serve allocation process, the 2014 Boone County Water Study, the timing of issues over the last couple of years, and that water has not been allocated to future LEAP projects, but all current customers of the city water utility. So that offer remains. That would be my advice to the board, is to do that, respond to that in a different setting, and I would be happy to facilitate that.
My response to that would be briefly that I think that this board owes not only me an answer to that question, it owes an answer to the citizens of this city, because I'm not alone. There are other individuals in this city who own lots who either want to build on them or would like to sell them, and they can't sell them without water. And so I think an answer to that question is owed to the citizens, not only me.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your comments. Anyone from the board have any comments tonight?
No.
Would you please state for my benefit your exact question?
The exact question is, how was it that this board allocated virtually 100% of the water available to be allocated without considering the fact that they could reserve some for the existing citizens of the town, of the city?
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other comments, we'll move on to our next item unless Mr. Whitsitt has anything else for us tonight.
I do not. I assume you're not going to answer the question, correct?
Yeah, it seems that not in this forum, it seems that you are correct.
Under advice of counsel.
I understand. The question will be posed in a different forum, perhaps in the future.
Thank you. All right, we'll jump to the next item tonight, which is the approval of our minutes from the October 23rd, 2024 meeting. Everyone had a chance to review those minutes, and if so, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes for October 23rd, 2024.
Second. Motion made by Bill, second by Tim to approve the minutes from the October 23rd, 2024 meeting. Any additional questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to item 5, which is Resolution 2024-11. This is the recommendation to the Common Council of the City of Lebanon, Indiana, for the issuance of waterworks revenue bonds for the purpose of funding improvements to the waterworks infrastructure with Exhibit B, form of bond ordinance. This is an action item, and I believe that this item will be tabled tonight.
Yes, Board, I would ask that it be continued to the November 20th meeting,
Does that require a motion?
please.
I move to continue Resolution 2024-11 to our next meeting, it's Wednesday, November 20th.
Second?
All right, we have a motion from Tim, second from Bill to continue this Resolution 2024-11 to our next meeting on November 20th, 2024. Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll move to item 6, which is the sewer collections vac truck surplus declaration. And this is Ryan Ottinger tonight.
Good evening. I do want to apologize and say you're welcome for me missing last meeting, so you didn't have to hear me muddle through all of the approvals, and I had my crew faithfully do it and did a great job, so I appreciate their help in the last meeting. But unfortunately for the board, I have 4 items tonight, so we will start with the first one. This is a request to declare truck number 36, 2000 Sterling Vector 2100 as surplus and allow D. Patrick Ford to sell at an auction. Just to refresh the board, on April 5th of 23, the board approved the purchase of a new vac truck for the sewer collections department. And we did receive that in June of 23. And so we are ready to declare the old vac truck as surplus and move it out off the grounds and get it sold at auction. And so that would be my request for the approval of that.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Questions for Ryan?
Ryan, why don't you take the truck to an equipment auction rather than going through a used car Ford dealership?
We can do that. D. Patrick said that that's what they would do, is take it to an equipment auction. So if the board would rather us to facilitate that.
Are you going to pay D. Patrick, or how does D. Patrick get compensated for doing this?
I'm not sure of. My supervisor, Cameron, spoke with D. Patrick and said that it's just such an odd item. They said that they could take care of that, but if the board would rather declare a surplus and the utilities facilitate that at an equipment auction, then that's I have zero problem with that. That's not an issue at all
That would be
whatsoever.
my recommendation.
My assumption would be that they do take a cut for doing the work, and I mean, it's going to
That would be
probably be
mine.
additional work for us, right, to take it to an auction, or is it not?
I can't speak, I've not done that before. Usually we don't have,
There's going
usually
to be a fee one way or the other.
Correct.
Whether you take it to a used car dealer or you take it to an equipment dealer. I'm just thinking that equipment dealer would have a better exposure to customers, and then would you get the most amount for the truck?
yeah, it is such
so-
a specific item.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill, my experience is they're not going to take this to a Ford auction. They're going to take it to an auction where this type of equipment is. And the closest place I know of is probably over in Lapel. So I would suggest that we go through D-Fords because I don't really want our guys driving it there, our guys dealing with the auction itself and doing all that. I realize it's going to be a little bit more, but this is unique. I don't care if we do it, but I just think let D-Ford, who's familiar with auctions, do that for us.
I'm not sure they're familiar with auctions on this kind of equipment.
Are we,
We did ask about that because, it's not a typical pickup truck or anything like that.
Right.
And they said that the auction is specific to large equipment, specialty equipment, and that they could facilitate that. Like I said, whatever the board's recommendation is, I'm perfectly fine with. It would be easier internally and less work for the staff if we were able to go through D-Ford, but I just don't want it to hang around any longer than it needs to.
No, we should have gotten rid of it a long time ago.
can
Yeah,
we declare this as surplus tonight and then allow you to, find out if D. Patrick has a fee and make the best decision either to take it yourself or to D. Patrick? Is that,
All right, let's do that.
or Sandra, you have something?
I was just going to add, I want to say it was maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, but we did have an agreement with D. Patrick, and they were taking all of our vehicles and selling them at auction. I believe they add a fee onto that, but I would have to double check. So
I would-
I just want you to know that it's not new to us. We have done this several times in the past.
You did it through Gene Lewis, though, not D. Patrick.
And we've done both. Which is why we reached out to.
Right.
But this is not a pickup truck. This is a special.
Correct. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So
it would need to go to a auction specific, which we asked if that's something they could facilitate, and they said that is.
Well, we
They
just
do it.
declare it surplus tonight,
Right.
and you can make a determination of what the
Yeah, if the
cost is
fee,
going to be
if-
associated with the sale.
Yeah, we can kind of just get their fees, and then if we took it ourselves, what that would be, and we can do what's best for the utility. That's no problem at all.
all right, so let's declare this a surplus and the final decision subject to our general manager's approval. Does that work?
Yep.
That's fine.
All right, any other questions for Ryan? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve declaring truck number 36 as surplus in accordance with IC 5-22-22, with the understanding that general manager can sign documents related to the disposition of said vehicle.
Got a second?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Aaron to approve declaring this truck number 36, the Sterling Vector 2100 as surplus and allowing the general manager to sign any documents in accordance with its disposition. Anything else for Ryan? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, Ryan, we'll jump to the Reese Park change order.
Yes, this is a change order for the final phase of the Reese Park lift station and sewer extension. The amount of this change order does keep us on budget, and so there's no change to the GMAX, the guaranteed maximum price. It just allowed us to do phase one obviously at a different time and get the lift station itself up and running. But this would be the final leg of connecting and installing new behind the Brendanwood area where we have a lot of known issues with the sewer lines in that area. So it's going to relieve a lot of the stress off of the current collection system in that area and make a lot of residents pretty happy. This start time would be around December of 2024. This is, if you'll remember, a Kokosing industrial project. So and they are currently on the business park lift station. So as that starts wrapping up, they will move over to Reese Park and continue to work, which is good for us because we do save on mobilization and demobilization on that site. But more importantly, the impact for the backyards and the neighborhood won't be until about the February timeframe. So they'll start in Reese Park in that area there. We are working. John Messenger and his staff have started. We started our progress meetings for this up, and they do attend that, so we can make sure that we're not having any impact on any activities at Reese Park, and that there'll be the proper safety barriers and proper signage. We are also going to avoid the new paved parking area there, so as not to impact that. And so John and his staff have been more than helpful in working with us and being good partners. And I can't say enough about them and all the projects we've done. And, Reese Park and, Abner Longley, anything that impacts the park, they are fantastic to work with. But then we will get into the backyards in February. And right now, project completion is slated for May of 2025. On this so some of the work being included will be installation of 18-inch open cut sanitary sewer, about 530 linear feet of that, about 57 linear feet of 12-inch, 6 linear feet of 8-inch, so open cutting some pipes, and then about 10 manhole structures that go along with this. So it's a long time coming on this. We had some delays with easement, but the residents have been patient and eagerly awaiting this, I feel like. So as we move forward, this will also give residents time to anything in the easement. They can, there's some old fences and stuff that will need to be dealt with. So we're trying to work with them on alleviating anything that would be impacted by the construction. We have handed out flyers and door knockers for that project for anybody impacted with our office number and also the BFNS field inspector who will be there every day. So if they have an issue, they can contact BFNS and get at least some answers or conversation started right away, not have to go through the office, see if somebody from utilities is available to come out there. There'll be somebody there to help the residents and talk them through. Very similar to the Syracuse Drive project where it impacted a neighborhood and was a pretty tight footprint. And so Kokosing did that also. So I have full faith that they'll continue their excellent customer service.
Will the BFNS inspector be 100% of the time?
There will be, Jason Summerfield is in charge of the inspections, but there will be an inspector there for the entire project, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. So when I say that, when installation is going on, backfill is going on, and inspection is needed, if they're not going to be there if they're not needed. So it'd be project specific on the inspections.
We anticipate the inspector being there for
The majority of the time, and if needed, it's budgeted for full time.
Right. Any other questions for Ryan on this item? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the Reese Park change order 2B from Kokosing Industrial for an amount not to exceed $2,372,381.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Bill to approve Reese Park change order 2B from Kokosing Industrial for an amount not to exceed $2,372,381. Any additional questions or discussion for Ryan?
I do have one. The total project cost, combining all phases, if I'm looking at my document correctly, is $4,843,765. And that's within the guaranteed price umbrella, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Right, anything else? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks, Ryan. On to the Rest Park retroactive approval.
Halfway there. So this request is for the retroactive approval of an invoice for an emergency well repair, electrical well repair at the I-65 northbound Res Park. We have monitoring wells that we use in coordination with both northbound and southbound Res Parks to monitor the water table in that area so we can ensure that the Sugar Creek water plant isn't having a significant impact on that aquifer. And so as part of that routine quarterly monitoring, there was a property damage incident on the electrical side as we were installing the well cap back on. And with that, it was forced to shut down without having the use of that well. They were forced to shut down that rest park. So I did approve a emergency approval on repairing that and getting that back up in a as timely manner as possible. The incident occurred in July. We received a few months later an invoice, and I responded to the invoice. But after some time, we did receive the final notice for payment from the state. So the Lebanon Utilities did pay that. However, we did run that through our insurance, and it was reimbursed for the full amount. So what this approval will do is we'll approve the payment to the state for this amount, as the insurance company paid us and not the state. So we paid them first, we got reimbursed. So budget-wise, it is a zero on the budget, but to ensure that all the proper steps are taking place, this approval would kind of fill in the middle gap. So I'm more than happy to take any questions that we may have on this.
Ryan, I assume that when you're indicating that it's retroactively approved, that you're talking about Indiana Code 36146. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is it,
I believe 6.
I've asked 16 if we want to change that in the motion.
Ryan, you have those codes memorized?
Normally, it's slipping my
Yes,
mind with all the pressure right now.
All right, anything else for Ryan on this item?
6. Danny is correct. It is 16. Apologies. Yep, Danny got me.
Well, then I apologize, because I agreed with council on that. I should have deferred to Danny and not agreed.
That's indeed.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve by the IC 36-1-4-16 ratification actions of the officers and employees approved by giving emergency repair of the well of Indiana northbound Rest Park for the amount not to exceed $24,099.
Second. A motion made by Bill and seconded by Tim to approve by way of IC 36-1-4-16. The emergency repair of the well at Indiana northbound Rest Park for an amount not to exceed $24,000.99. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Ryan, your final stand here. Next item is the water wastewater clothing policy.
Last but certainly not least, my request for this is for the board to approve a water wastewater clothing policy effective January 1st of 2025. This would be similar or mirror what the electric department clothing policy is. I had numerous discussion with staff and vendors on what direction we wanted to go. We currently rent clothing or the utility, and there is also a purchasing policy for winter coats, boots, high-vis shirts that the utilities pays. Right now, our average cost for rental of non-flame retardant clothing is about $750 per person. And then we do have an allowance, like I said, for Carhartt bibs, which boots up to, I believe, $200 for new boots that the utilities pays, and then rain gear that the utilities pays, and as I mentioned, the high-vis T-shirts. This clothing policy would include all of that in the allowance, so the utilities would not be purchasing that on top of the rental. This would all be included in as they have a budget. Similar to electric, it's not a budget where we give them $850. We have a local vendor that will have a website specific to what clothing is chosen, and they can go on there. It all have Lebanon utility logos on it, including right now our Carhartts or our winter coats do not have that because they don't purchase them, or we don't rent those. All that will have utility logos on it. All the high-vis items will be on there, and then they'll have, they can purchase their boots, Carhartts, everything that they need through the local vendor that will have a website specific for what we need.
So you'll give them a clothing allowance of
Yep.
$850?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good.
So do they get this allowance no matter what, or only if they use an amount up to that amount? How does that work?
So they have basically a credited account. If they use 700, they don't get $150 back, then that's what they spent for the year. But they can use up to $850 to purchase what they need.
Is it considered income for tax purposes?
I cannot speak on that.
No.
Clothing allowance.
Sandra says no.
No.
Thank you.
Right. Anything else for Ryan on the clothing policy? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the new wastewater clothing policy.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to approve the new wastewater clothing policy. Any other questions for Ryan? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, everyone.
Next item is the approval of our claims, payroll, and transfers dated October the 23rd, 2024. Everyone had a chance to review those, and if so, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve claims payroll transfers dated October 23rd, 2024 in the amount of $1,942,853.38 for claims and payroll and $157,690 for transfers.
Second.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Tim to approve the claims, payrolls, and transfers dated October 23rd, 2024. Any additional questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Anyone from the board have any other business tonight?
I do have one cleanup item. Danny's betting 1,000 for tonight. I don't believe that Mr. Stoner can make a motion or participate in the vote on the approval of the minutes from October 23rd. I
Okay.
don't believe you were there.
Oh.
So I'd ask the board to amend that item
That's
and
true.
reapprove them with the bill abstaining.
Okay.
Thank you, Danny.
And I don't believe I was present for that meeting either. So are we going to need my vote or?
So if you are not here as well, they will need to carry over to the next meeting when you have a quorum of available voters.
Yeah, we got to have three. Okay.
Well,
You and I
Okay, so
and-
it's at the end.
We
yeah.
can't even vote on it then, right?
Yeah.
No, we can't.
Okay. Well, then
So-
let's circle back to item 4 then.
So
At the next meeting,
I-
11:20.
I move that the approval of the October 23rd, 2024 minutes be tabled until the November 20 meeting.
Second.
Right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that will be tabled till the next meeting. Good catch, Danny. Anyone else have any business here for the board? Any other public comment? Ed, any electronic public comment that you have?
No, not today.
Okay. All right, looks like we're scheduled November 20th for the next meeting at 5 PM. So if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.